Published 1942 est. The 27th of November 2017. Updated 2008 est. The 27th of November 2017. In aversion to broken patterns such as the sight of a picture hanging crookedly on a wall, out of order tiles, or a desk with things in the wrong place has been linked to racism and homophobia. The Yale team say their groundbreaking study sets out a new basis for prejudice. The researchers say that traditional explanations of prejudice, namely that it arises from a sense of danger or some deeply embedded evolutionary flight or fight response, may now not be correct. Instead, they say, the urge to discriminate against minorities and vulnerable people may spring from a dislike of order. The Yale experiments found people's aversion towards a lack of order in images and patterns such as the one above consistently overlapped with their tendency to stigmatize individuals seen as different. The Yale psychologists recruited several hundred people, using Amazon's crowdsourcing internet service Mechanical Turk. They then divided them into teams and subjected them to several tests designed to uncover responses to pattern and social deviance. They found that the link between the two types of reaction was consistent and robust, and that results in one area, say being annoyed by an out-of-place triangle, was a strong predictor of results in another, say, being critical of a gay person in the immediate vicinity. Psychologists Anton Gollwitzer, Julia Marshall, Yimeng Wang and John Bug, all from Yale University, set up 8 studies, involving children and adults, to examine the links between a dislike of incomplete patterns and the tendency to stigmatize individuals seen as different. The tests were designed to measure the response to a range of items from irregular shapes to described scenes. These included tests to analyze the response to black people, the obese, those with a lower or higher than average IQ, and a school where boys wore pink bow ties and did ballet, while girls wore blue baseball caps and play football. The relationship between pattern deviancy and social deviancy aversion emerged across explicit and implicit measures, across cultures United States and China, and was of a moderately large magnitude, they concluded in the journal Nature Human Behavior in their paper, entitled Relating Pattern Deviancy Aversion to Stigma and Prejudice. Although non-social pattern deviancy and social deviancy judgments may seem distinct given their differing domains, people's aversion towards non-social pattern deviancy and social deviancy consistently overlapped. The tests were designed to measure the response to a range of items from irregular shapes to described scenes. These findings raise the possibility that pattern deviancy aversion plays an important role in stigmatization and prejudice. Gollwitzer and colleagues also said that terms such as strange and weird are used to negatively describe both incomplete visual patterns and unusual individuals. One of the tests used a series of images including a cake cut at an unusual angle, ruining the circular symmetry of the cake. One of the tests used a series of images including a cake cut at an unusual angle, ruining the circular symmetry of the cake. One test in the study measured participants' aversion towards fictional individuals who broke versus followed a social norm. Participants were told to imagine a world inhabited by people known as flurps. As long as anyone can remember, all the flurps have lived in blue houses. Living in a blue house is an important part of flurp tradition and culture. Participants were then told, imagine you come across a flurp living in a green house. Remember, none of the other flurps live in green houses, they all live in blue house. Imagine you come across a flurp living in a blue house. Remember, all the flurps live in blue houses. Participants then reported their aversion towards the flurp in each of these two scenarios by indicating their agreement to the statements: this flurp makes me feel uncomfortable, this flurp makes me feel annoyed, and this flurp makes me anxious on a scale from 1 not at all agree to 7 strongly agree. Participants said it made them feel uncomfortable, annoyed, and anxious, and say they felt the same in response to images of individuals stigmatized in society, such as someone with a skin condition or someone cross-dressing. People tend to rationalize such prejudice by claiming that negatively deviant individuals, such as the mentally ill, are dangerous, and that positively deviant individuals, such as highly competent people, are cold and untrustworthy, the researchers concluded. The research presented here, however, raises the possibility that a simple dislike of pattern deviancy plays a role in such prejudice. The team also cited a 2016 study led by Tyler Okimoto of the University of Queensland Business School in Australia that found social attitudes could be predicted by a person's dislike of imperfect shapes. In this research, people were asked to look at some geometric figures and indicate to what extent they conformed to perfect shapes, such as circles or triangles. Okimoto and colleagues found that people with conservative ideologies were much more sensitive to the difference between perfect and imperfect than people with more liberal worldviews. According to the team, say this image inspired their work. An image of a Muslim woman next to a drag queen in the New York City subway went viral in March 2017. While some people felt little aversion to the scene, others reacted with open hostility. These differential reactions raise psychological questions: what underlies individual differences in people's dislike of societal outliers, and, furthermore, why are social outliers stigmatized and discriminated against in the first place?